This is an interaction I just remembered and figured it might fit here. Years ago, I worked as the administrator for a pair of residential treatment facilities where individuals with long-term mental health issues lived. I was the contact person for a couple city and county agencies and would occasionally get calls about referrals, changes in parole status for some of my residents, that kind of thing. I left that position in the winter of 2012. Back in 2020 or so, I got a call from one of the partners, and the conversation went like this. Me, hello. Caller, hello, this is, whoever, let's call him B, with such and such agency, is this, my first name? Me, please tell me what this is regarding. B, I'm calling to update and verify our emergency contact information. We have you listed as the contact person for facility, is that right? Me, that's my name, but I haven't worked for that company since 2012. I am not an emergency contact for them anymore and you will need to remove me from your list. I am not a resource for you or for them. Note, yes, I really did talk like that. 10 years in community mental health outreach trains you to speak like a computer when necessary so your conversations stay factual and you don't inadvertently agree to anything. B, well, we need some sort of contact information and yours is the most up-to-date we have. Please spell your first and last name and your email or mailing address so our contact information is correct and we. Me, B, stop right there. I'm not verifying any of my contact information as I am not an employee of company, and cannot be used as a resource. Remove any of my information from your list and call company directly if you need updated emergency contact information. I don't even know who works at those sites any longer, I've been gone for years. B, I need you to help me update your contact information. You're being deliberately unhelpful. Me, yes. Now imagine how unhelpful I'd be if you called me at 10 p.m. on a Friday night because one of the residents stripped naked and ran down the street screaming that their dead grandparents were trying to kill them. Additional note, that's a call I actually did get when I was an after-hours contact for these sites. Me, continuing, B, again, please remove me from your list of contacts altogether. I no longer work for company, and will not be handling any emergency calls. If you continue to harass me, I'll make my own call to company, and report you for harassment. B, man, I'm just trying to do my job. Me, yeah, well, you're also trying to get me to do something that is definitely not my job. Please do not call me for emergencies. Goodbye. Ended call. And that was that. I know it reads like a script, fake story, but yeah, a decade in community mental health. Social work teaches you to talk like an automaton sometimes so you don't inadvertently reveal someone's protected information, and it does help one maintain a really weird level of professionalism, boundaries to keep you from overpromising something to someone. Hi gang. We, equals GF and me, met our first real Karen in the wild and I'll never look at this channel the same again because I can now truly imagine some of the situations that get shared here. Backstory. I live in a town in the Netherlands which has a university that is also internationally known. As a result we get a lot of foreign students here which, in my opinion anyway, is what makes this place so nice to live in. When shopping for example you can easily run into people speaking English, obviously, German, French, Spanish and there are even Chinese and Japanese students here. I kinda enjoy that international character, especially when you keep in mind that my hometown is actually rather small. Anyway, my GF has an overseas cousin living in Japan who got accepted to attend the university. And since my GF hadn't seen her cousin for many years she was obviously really looking forward to meeting up again once we learned of this. Things to know, my GF and me don't live together, but we go visit each other every weekend, either her or my place. Obviously she came over to me this weekend. Another thing is that I often enjoy wearing a body warmer versus a regular coat which apparently sometimes makes you stand out a bit. But really not that much more from someone wearing a red or bright yellow jacket, which is sometimes also a thing over here. Alas. When this incident took place the cousin had been here for roughly a week or so. The meet. So it's Saturday, the weather is very nice and so off we go. Now, The university doesn't really have a dormitory as you often see in the US, but from what I heard they do maintain a few buildings around town where some students are invited to. Most students need to take care of their own housing though. But the cousin got lucky and was invited to stay in one of the buildings maintained by the university itself. When we got there it was somewhat busy because there were a few new students moving in, so we met up outside in front of the building. My GF and cousin were very happy to actually meet in person again, so yeah. First moments there was a lot of Japanese going back and forth, but eventually they decided to switch to English because they figured this was more fair towards me and now I could also join the conversations. I didn't really mind though, I actually learned a few new Japanese phrases. So here we were, talking in English about stuff when we're suddenly met with, finally some service. You can stop talking to those bimbos now and get to work, here. And when the three of us look over to where this tirade was coming from, we see a filled out woman with that hairstyle, sunglasses, the works as she drops 2 suitcases right next to me, followed by a bag she was wearing over her shoulder, and then proceeds to walk towards the building. What the heck? Madam, what are you doing? You shouldn't just leave your bags here, I tell her, but to no avail. She completely ignores me and just walks inside the building. Bimbos? My GF asks. I tell the ladies that we're just going to stand somewhere away from the suitcases since these aren't ours. When the cousin asks if that isn't dangerous because someone could steal them, my GF and me basically tell her that screw that, we're not going to look after someone's luggage after they just insulted us. My GF excuses herself to me and explains to her cousin, in Japanese again, that the culture in the Netherlands is very different from that in Japan and that she needs to be careful about this because some people might otherwise take advantage of her sense of morale. The twist. Because I couldn't really participate in that conversation, I started paying more attention to our surroundings again and noticed that a student had come out of the building, noticed the suitcases and was now looking around. When he noticed me looking at him, he asked me if I knew whose suitcases they were, and I told him that een van der arrogant Amerikaan strut heeft die achtergelaten. Translation: some arrogant American bitch has left those behind. And the very moment I told him, I noticed that he immediately knew who I was talking about. He tells me that she was the mother of one of the new students and she had been nothing but trouble for the past days. However, because they couldn't really do anything about her, they just tried to ignore it as best as possible. Also because the daughter was nothing like her mother at all and even profusely apologized several times for the sometimes mental behavior. One of the reasons the daughter decided to attend this university was also to get away from her mom in the first place. Fortunately enough, the mother would be gone in a few days and that would be the end of it, so people just figured they'd cope while it lasted. Next he grabs the suitcases, declines my offer to help, and tells me that he'll take him inside the building to keep them safe and he'll let the student know about it. Say, if anyone other than the harpy lady asks, please tell them that name has them. Otherwise could you please just ignore her or something? I know I'm asking a lot, he tells me. I smile, nod but tell him no promises, and meanwhile the ladies had switched back to English again. This time we're talking about shops that are available. The cousin tells us that she's lucky to have found a discounter, Aldi, but it's somewhat far away. After which GF and me tell her that there's a Lidl closer by which is also not too expensive. One thing leads to another and we soon decide to go over there, also because GF and me had to do some shopping anyway. So the cousin runs inside to grab her bag and some other stuff while GF and me wait outside. The fallout. Sure enough, harpy lady shows up again, spots me and storms over. Hey you, where are my bags? She yells. I tell her, how should I know, maybe try asking inside. And she looks pissed. No, that is your job, you go get my bags already, right now. Is this for real? Are we actually experiencing a Karen in the wild? It was then and there when I decided that I would write this up, especially when I replied, Madam, this isn't my job, I don't work here. She almost cuts me off. Shut up, of course it's your job. You're wearing the uniform. At which point my girlfriend completely loses it in laughter, which visibly annoys the harpy lady even more. You call that a UNI? That's a UNI. UNI form? My GF stammers, she now officially has the giggles, poor me. I know this is supposed to be our own experiences, but I was part of it. I was assisting a customer at the service desk. Customer was in her work uniform from a restaurant. She still had on her brown apron, their new light blue polos with the restaurant logo, black dress pants. I'm inside the customer service desk, so it's clear I work there. We wear a black apron, a name tag, our own shirts and blue jeans. Our uniforms look nothing alike other than we both are wearing an apron. Another customer walks up to her just as I'm giving her the change and asks where something is. She answered she didn't know, but I could probably help since I do. Before I could speak, he grabbed her apron strings, the ones around her neck, and yanks, telling her she clearly does work here and he needs help, starting to pull her away from the desk. Me, oh, hey, no. Let go of her. Customer number 1, swatting his hands, let go of me. Customer number 2, not letting go, she needs to learn some manners and how to do her job. Me, I'm calling the police. Another nearby cashier had already called for the store manager to the service desk. My department manager came out of her office at the same time. Customer number 1 was trying to duck out of her apron to get away from this mental ward applicant and he's not about to let go. Both of them hurry over to help her. I am on the line with the police. There was a lot of yelling, let go, stop, she needs to be fired, to the point I'm not sure who was yelling what. He suddenly let go and started walking to the exit. My store manager was a few steps behind him, telling him he needed to wait for the police, to which he said screw you, and your horrible employees for treating a customer this way and left. Store manager did yell at him that he was not to return to this store as he got into his vehicle and left. We have a good description of him, his vehicle, his license plate, which were given to the police. Customer number 1 says yes, she is pressing charges if they catch him. Store manager contacted LP to pull the video from the cameras for the police and to start the corporate paperwork for a permanent ban which includes a no trespassing order from the police so he can be immediately arrested for stepping foot on store property.